Good morning. Welcome once again to Presence of Light here on Humanity Healing on Friday mornings. And this is Charlie Riverman Bergeron speaking to you from the southeast coast of Maine in the United States. And today we have snow, which we've not seen much of at this particular part of Maine uh, this winter. So it's nice to see it turn white and it yeah, it's time. It's winter. So today's talk is one that began years ago when I had a near-death experience. My journey, which is now 31 years old, has led me into many different uh, adventures and continuing. And this year, my adventure is to find all the places within me where peace is not is being disturbed or not realized, knowing that we can certainly see lack of peace in the world around us, but we're not always consciously aware of how that disturbance disturbs the peace within us. Many of us don't even know what that peace within us really is. So I look at it as this year's adventure. However, when I began my journey, I didn't know anything about spirituality. I didn't know anything about energy. Uh, Good morning, Penny. I was an alcoholic and I was homeless or had been homeless. And I died in a motorcycle accident, for those of you who don't know. And I came back, as many near death experiencers do, obviously, and was told not to talk about it. Now we can talk about it because there have been so many studies done that people feel comfortable to share their stories. The reality of all of this brought me to what do I do? Where do I go? Who am I? What is this all about? And I said to myself at that time, although I didn't use these words, I need a mantra, something to grab a hold of to make me understand that this is not just my imagining, that this is real. And the other day, I caught myself posting it again on Facebook. And it's a very simple statement. It's every day is an adventure. It can be your wildest fantasy or your worst nightmare. You choose. Your wildest fantasy is a limited thought, and your worst nightmare is just an illusion. And those words may sound ridiculous the way they're put together, but that's what my guides guided me to write as a sort of a mantra to remind myself that when I get too seriously involved with everything I'm doing and making it more important than who I am and my presence here, then it needs to bring me back to a place, a reminder of say, oh, wait a minute, Charlie, take a pause, take a deep breath, step back, and look again. Look at it from a different point of view. I always use the 12 around uh, geometric uh, circle. And I tell people that if you don't like what you're looking at, go to another point around that circle and look again. And that was my guidance years ago, and I didn't understand any of these esoteric teachings or these um, wonderful, how do I want to call it, principles of living existence. So each of us, every day now in 2023, are being faced with things that uh, we're not used to. our parents went through it and our grandparents went through it. And if you go back in civilization, we see that every many generations have gone through wars and hunger and violence and uh, excessive brutality and just unrighteous living. I mean, we can go back into any story and see how our ancestors went through this. And we're going through this right now. So it's really just, it's amazing to see how um, each of us are now having to go through what they went through, but in a very different way, because we now have modern technology, we have all of this amazing wisdom to work with, yet emotionally and physically, we are going through the same things. Pandemics, we're going through diseases, we're going through uh, lack of food or water or etc. Many of us is going to be in the lack of dollars in order to survive and support ourselves. We have immigration and emigration happening. I'm not being, you know, critical about any of it. It's just part of where we are. But that thing of every day is an adventure. It can be your wildest fantasy or your worst nightmare, is really our choice. And that's what my guides were trying to tell me. You, as the human there in the third dimension, have an ability to choose which one you want to tune into. It's like dialing the channel. You want you want to be happy or you want to be frustrated. You want to be cheerful or you want to be angry. We have that choice, and that's the brain. That's what the brain has was designed for. Was to It's a guiding system. It's our computer, if you will, and it was designed to take in all of the information, store it, and then recall it so that we wouldn't go through the same processes over and over and over again. So, as you just heard in my beginning, we seem to have failed that, haven't we? We're going through the same process over and over and over and over again. We just change its color, we just change its shape, we just change its smell, we just change all of the senses that we have so that it doesn't appear to be the same as what our ancestors went through. Yet they did, and so are we. The time now has come to be, yes, Penny, choose to be happy. It's our time now to choose to be happy. And how do we do that if we can't be happy within ourselves? So the message today is every day, two words, or every day. And there's two distinct meanings to those words. And I don't pay attention to this until it calls my attention. And I never know what's going to call my attention until I wake up on Friday mornings. And my guides, which are very funny beings, uh, they have a great sense of humor, and they're very gentle. So it's like I'm not alone, and that's what I want to share with you. You are not alone. You have a family of guides, whatever form you want to look at them, but they're benevolent. They're willing to share wisdom and comfort with you. And it's just a matter of letting go of, oh, that's just a fantasy. So, in the second part of that thing is, wildest fantasy is a limited thought, a limited thought. So when we cancel something out, we shut the door and we go beyond it. I want you to open the doors of your mind. And I want you to think about your dreams as a child. I want you to think about your desires throughout your life that kind of collapsed, but you really were heart you your heart wanted to do these things. And I don't want you to go look at them and then become morbidly sad or angry over them. I want you to say, where is that person in me now? Because that person who thought those thoughts is you. And you never went anywhere except you shut down doors and your mind focused on something else other than the truth of who you are. I didn't think I was going to go through all of this, but here we go. So the two separate words, every day, meaning every day, is just means each day. So they're little blocks. Day one, two, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, however you want to name them, whether you want to have 7 days a week or 7,000 days a week, it's irrelevant. Each day is a separate sort of window for you to operate in and to look at yourself and to work with yourself and to give to others. When those days end and we die, we are no longer able to do that. Okay, so this is important right now is what do we do with every single day? And when we're not feeling good, how do we shift that back into a day where we can be kind? We don't even have to do anything, just, we can be quiet or peaceful. So this is my journey this year is to find the peace within me that has been buried underneath thousands and thousands of issues and problems and words and relationships and all of the things that I've been through in 73 years. Do I expect to get it completed in a year? No. But what it is it's opening the mind to let some fresh air in. We live through our heart, not through our brain. We've been taught to live through our brain, not our hearts. So it's about love. It's about compassion. It's about caring. It's about kindness. These are the things that really make us a human being separated from animals. In right now, I'm going to say many animals have a much better relationship uh, than we do as humans. We may go take a few notes, if you will. So that's every day, is every single day. Every day, like I have in that little, but that whatever you want to call it, is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Uh, it's to be ordinary. Every day is to be ordinary or typical every day. It's a repetitive process. How do we become ordinary? How do we become typical? I don't want to be ordinary. I don't want to be typical. I want to be this. Well, you can be, because that can be your ordinary, and perhaps it is your ordinary or typical self. You see, we've been programmed through teachings that are many of them lies and fairy tales and fantasies. And many of us, when we were in school, would argue with the teachers that that wasn't, there's something wrong here. And we would, get a comment or say, you put the right answer down or you fail the class. Meaning you put what I want you to put, not what you might know from some other reason you can't even put your finger on. So what we were done, what has been done, we were entrained to follow orders. We're like people in the army and in the troops that you follow the orders. This is the leader, you follow the leader. This is the sheep, you follow the leader sheep. Somewhere there's dogs to keep us corralled and moving. And then there's the old story where the sheep all jump off the cliff. And that's where the dogs have left them. They guided them. We're being guided to jump off the cliff. In many ways, that's what's happening right now. And we can continue to follow the leader, or we can step out into the adventure of who we truly are and say, how do I bring this to the world? How do I help the world change? How do I help my brothers and sisters, my future generations? How do I help them? How do I break through this pattern? Because right now this is it's a, it's broken. There's a thing where the Chinese, when the vase is broken, they put gold in it. I don't know the name of it, but they do it, and that's a healing. How do we heal? So the key is to look at every day, meaning every day that's the ordinary, the typical, okay, and say, how can I tweak that? How can I tweak that so that it is no longer negative? How can I adjust it so that it's not diminished and not hurt? How can I change that within myself? And when we start to work with ourselves, eventually we grow accustomed to the ability to do it, that we have this ability to change. And from there, we don't go trying to change other people, but we speak like I'm speaking and many others speaking. You're speaking from your heart, your own experience, and you're hoping that somebody will pick out one little thing and say, I've been thinking about that, or, that strikes me in a funny way. And it's like the little ping that triggers something in each of us to look at something differently and not get wrapped up in the drama, the uh, the play, if you will, Shakespeare's play. We are all in this play. The difference is we're not the writers, but the reality is we are the writers of this play. I'm going to pause here for a second because I don't want to get too far off of what my message has been. So it's about every day versus every day. Both move together. I wrote this, I don't know when, I don't have the date, but this is what I wrote. Every day is an amazing opportunity to explore dimensions of ourselves which have been previously inaccessible. Here on Earth, the view from the 33rd floor is much different than the third floor, and likewise in our multidimensional self. So I ran across this years ago when I was studying Reiki and other things, trying to figure out what was all this energy, what was going on. And I realized that, if I look at the world from where I'm at, I see everything here. But if I go up in a high rise building and I'm looking down on it and it's a completely different view. There's a different energy, there's a different uh, respect. So, what it taught me was that sometimes we can't see what's in the soup when we're in the soup. That's my guide coming in. Uh, and that's what the message is we are in the soup right now. So how do we see this? What we're doing is we're all struggling, we're all boiling, and we're all churning in this pot of soup. And it's time for us to now rise up as the steam off of the soup and say, okay, now I want to look at what life is like. Now I want to look at what politics are. Now I want to look what commercialism is. Now I want to look at why are we still putting bombs in everybody's backyard and shooting each other and killing each other insanely out of greed and possessiveness? I can't answer that, but I certainly don't have to be part of it. I don't have to feed it. I don't have to keep stirring the pot. I can turn down the heat so that it's not boiling, it's just simmering. And this is where the adventure is. The adventure is your choice to change the way you look at everything, the way you see it, and the way you understand it, and come from a more peaceful aspect. Try to find the peace in everything. Now, when we look at, uh, I'm going to say it, the gun situation, I know many people have guns, but is that an object of peace? Does that create peace? No. It's defense, it's protection, it's we're putting our trust in this weapon to save us if we need to be saved from harm. It's not a bad idea. It's worked for thousands and thousands of years. If you go back, they find swords that are 4,000 years old. So it's not like we didn't always have this environment that was rough to be in and it was life or take life. But we're here in 2023, and that's only in one calendar year. We're millions of years old. We have civilizations that we are finding underground that have been built over and built over. People who traveled around the world in boats and visited each other. They built pyramids and temples. To what? We don't know. How did they build them? We don't know. Yet we ignore that. Well, that doesn't fit with Darwin's story of evolution. Well, maybe he was wrong. Maybe that's why he didn't publish it until just before he died, because he didn't want to listen to everybody picking him apart. And he knew that that was going to happen. So he waited. The man was brilliant. I'm not saying that what he didn't trace and track isn't true, but where humans come in, we're now, genetics has proven that the missing gene codes that they always knew were missing, they couldn't find those links, are showing up. It's a completely new look at the human species. So this is an amazing opportunity right now for us to also see ourselves in a different way. Let's see ourselves as the power of peace, light, and love. And what do we do with that energy that is within each of us, whether we understand it, whether we recognize it or not? Because that's who you are. That's what I became when I died. And I don't listen to others. Occasionally I do other stories of near-death experiences because we all have something we brought back unique. But when we bring it back unique, sometimes our human brain puts it into human terms. And that was what I was guided not to do, simply by this little mantra. Don't put it into the ordinary. Don't look at it as just another day at planet Earth. Learn to be who you truly are as this energy being, this physical form that has a connection far beyond this living experience here. Because life is an experience that repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. The universe repeats, it spins, it swirls, it's a spiral. We are a spiral. Our energies are spiral. It doesn't stop just because the physical body ends. And for those of you who are losing family members right now, I send my heart out to each and every one of you. It's a time where many people are leaving. I'm not concerned about how they're leaving. It's just that they leave a sense of emptiness in the families that they leave behind, a sadness, a helplessness. And that's what my talk today is about, is every day. Every 2 words is each day. Let's live life one day at a time, knowing that what we do today is going to affect the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And we're not helpless, and we're not hopeless. Another quote of mine is this: conscious awareness is not a destination to arrive at. It is the process of revealing ourselves. There is no place to go. We are already here. Who are we is the question. And what are we here to do? What is it here that we can do? Because each of us have this power of peace, light, and love. They're not imaginary. They're not the fantasy. We've been taught that they're the fantasy. But in my little mantra there, it says, your wildest fantasy is a limited thought. Your wildest fantasy of how we could live in harmony and balance, even that is a limited thought. It can be even more beautiful. But we can't get to see that until we get to see this. So you see this as an evolutionary process. We're all on it. We're not going to escape. Death does not take us out of the picture. We just move into another dimension of beingness, no physical body, or maybe there is a physical body and stuff. I don't know. I'm not there, and I can't say that I experienced that. However, I had maintained a consciousness and awareness of what was going around me after I came out of the peace, the light, and the love. But in the peace and light and love, there was no physical beingness. There was no brain. There was nothing, nobody there. It was pure, what we call heaven. And I know that that energy is in all of us now. It's in me, it's in you. And all we have to do is look for the right doorknob and open the door, and it's going to flow. So I want to encourage you all to take a look, take a pause, make 2023 a year of self-investigation. Look inside yourself. And it brings us to the words adventure, fantasy, and illusion. So, adventure, the meaning is an experience that is exciting or very unusual, as well as exciting or risky, and many times with an unknown outcome. So let's take life right now that we're living and look at it as an adventure. We're going to go on an adventure. We're going to rediscover who we truly are and what we can do, whether we do it alone or in a group that is going to benefit all life on planet Earth and all of humanity that exists here, as well as all of the other beings. Fantasy. Fantasy is the imagining of improbable or impossible outcomes. So Fantasy is a funny word because we dream and it's fantasy. But we've just labeled it, oh, that's just a dream or that's just fantasy. Yet most of all the inventions and all of the wonder that we live in, somebody came to somebody as a fantasy. It wasn't truly a fantasy. It came in as a fantasy, and they decided, I'm going to follow it beyond fantasy. Most of us choose to dismiss everything as a fantasy. And so, yes, our wildest fantasy is a limited thought. How can that be? How can our worst nightmare be just an illusion? What is illusion? Illusion are things that are wrongly perceived or interpreted by our senses. So the adventure that we're taking right now is into the world of fantasy and illusion. And we're going to discern that a lot of what we've been told is fantasy and a lot of what we've been told is illusion aren't that at all. They just didn't, whoever they are, didn't want us to know or have this information. It was hidden from us as fairy tales and stories so that we would dispute it and we would not look further into it. Because if we did, those who were in leadership would no longer have the power that they have over all of life. I'm going to end there and take what you want from what I've said. Know that each one of us are far more powerful than we have ever thought we are. And each one of us have a responsibility to each other and to the planet and to the stars and to all of creation. However you want to tell the story of creation, the fact still remains. It was created, and we are part of it. And it's our responsibility to make sure that it continues for future generations. Thank you all for spending this 30, 35 minutes, whatever, with me this morning. May you be blessed. May each of your families feel healthier. May you have enough financial ability to support yourself. May each of you find the medicines that you need. And may each of you learn to smile again and to be kind again and to be less critical again and to see the people who are so very critical. Watch them. Watch their actions. Watch, don't just listen to their words. For their words mean nothing. They'll say more words tomorrow that will contradict the words they said yesterday. How do you trust people who don't repeatedly say the same thing over and over again? Find those who are living those words. And then I still say, watch them. Watch them. Are they trying to control you? Are they trying to manipulate you to an ideology that is not beneficial for all of humanity and the planet? Are they hiding it behind some little trinket they're willing to offer you in the moment? Yet, 2 generations from now will create havoc. Let's be the ones that bring the world back together. Bless you all. See you next Friday. If you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook. I also have a blog, and I have no, whatever I do, I just do it. I just do it because I love to. That's why I came back. Bless you all. And by the way, it's Chinese New Moon. Celebrate, offer, make your offerings, and then we have a new moon. So lots of new. That's the key word for today. New. Love you all.